So I wrote, maybe even open your textbook to page 12, 'cause I think that's where a lot of these symbols are. Always work under... Oh, that works. Where'd my cursor go? Okay. Supervision. And only on approved activities. Don't change a tire. Oh, procedure. Okay. There will be some times when I will be changing the procedure because often we don't quite have the same identical equipment that the lab write-up has, but it'll be close. Read the procedure. Same word there too. Know how to use lab equipment properly. Always wear protective equipment. Okay. The big one I'm fussy about is going to be eye protection. I will never take a risk there. My best friend is going blind. He's down to about 1% vision. It's been decreasing for the past 10 years, and so he's having to use a white cane now. And I've watched that over the years. When we go somewhere that he hasn't been to for a year, I'll see him look around, and I see his brain is saying, oh, I can't see that anymore. I can't read that sign. I could still last year. That's one of the big ones, is losing your eyes. You know, losing a finger, I could probably adjust. Losing even part of my hearing, I could probably adjust. I don't know how well I would adjust to losing my eyesight, so I'm going to be really, really fussy about eye protection. And the lab. And you got to keep the equipment on until everyone has finished the lab, not just your group, especially the eye protection. We will occasionally be playing with stuff that goes boom. Not big boom, but could if someone is really, really dumb. So keep the eye protection on so nothing happens, right? What goes here? Don't wear loose clothing. Or open-toed shoes. So I'll try and give you notice ahead of time that there's going to be a lab the next day. Don't eat, drink, or chew. Okay. I have no idea what number 7 is supposed to be. Know what? Oh, okay. We talked about this one, Trevor, you were away. We talked about this one last class. Where is the fire extinguisher located in my classroom? Left, 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 left. In summary, if you aren't sure what, look to your left. Front left or back, the fire blankets, you're the one kind of at the back left. The 2 sinks are there. First aid kit's up there. There is also a fire alarm on this side, but just for easy convenience in my class, when something goes horribly wrong, kind of head that way, front left. Okay. Follow the teacher's instructions in an emergency, obviously. You'll hear me. I have a fairly loud voice. Kids tell me. Glassware. Never use what or what glassware? Huh?
Chipped or broken.
Oh, chipped or broken. If you find something, because I've sorted through them, but sometimes it happens and I don't catch it, point it out to me, I'll toss it and I'll get you another one. So never use chipped or broken. There is a broken glass bucket in the little lab office back there. So if we do break something, give me a holler. I'll get the broken glass bucket and we'll put it all there. Blank all glassware thoroughly after using it. Yeah. There's going to be a couple of labs later on this year that we're doing that are really going to require some elbow grease to get them clean, but they will get clean, and it's worth doing. Otherwise, you're passing it on to the next person, and it just cakes on and gets yuckier. Oh, next page over. Know the safety precautions for any chemicals that you're using. If you come in contact with a substance, wash the affected area immediately with probably soap and water, but at least water is a good start. Okay. I have a bit of a weird setup. So the sinks are behind Cole and Danielle, but the soap dispensers are on the wall kind of behind the sinks. So it's just they didn't think of soap dispensers when they designed the classroom like 25 years ago. So if you get anything in your eyes, don't touch them. Use the emergency eye wash for around 15 minutes. But I also told you, if you can let the emergency eye wash run because of that brown water that comes out for a bit, do it, right? Hold containers
Away.
from your face when pouring liquids. Read labels. Now, a lot of the time, there's not going to be a label because I'm not going to give you the $400 container of all of our stuff because that's our whole budget. I'll pour it into a smaller. Often you'll see I'll have like a couple of beakers at the front if we're getting stuff. So I'll also tell you about it, what to be careful and what not to be. Is that a hand up or are you just pointing at the ceiling to make sure it's... Okay, sorry. I thought you had a hand up for a second there. My bad. Don't put objects in your... Yeah, pretty obvious. But I did tell you the story of aspartame and Splenda, that they were scientists who hadn't washed their hands and suddenly discovered, oh, my fingers taste sweet. Yeah. Don't return a chemical to its original container, because you may spoil the original batch. Don't dispose of chemicals down the sink or into the garbage without your teacher's permission. I think this year, almost all the time, what I'll be giving you is going to be garbage or sink disposable. I'm not going to be giving you anything that requires hazmat or anything like that. Clean up any spills. Leave your work area as clean. I was going to say tidy, but clean works as well, as possible. If you're asked to smell a substance, hold the container at... What does the word waft mean? Because some of you were asking me what that word... So you hold it out here and you just... Okay? You don't want to... Because you could actually permanently damage your smell organs. The odor sensors in your nostrils. When diluting acid with water, add acid to the water, not water to the acid. I think the reason I didn't have a blank there is I don't think we're using that this year. I don't think. Gotta remember. Hot plates. To see if a plate is hot. Oh, touch your hand?
Yeah. Drop in water.
Are you guys okay if I never write water and I just write H2O because it's less writing and it's the chemical formula and it's nerdy? So if it's nerdier and shorter, I'm in. I think I've told you I tend to abbreviate. Yes? Know how to light and operate a Bunsen burner before you use it. I'm not sure we're going to bring out the Bunsen burners this year, partly because the gas hookup in this room is not good. I got it to work about 2 years ago. I came in the Christmas break and I turned on, I think, the nozzle behind Danielle. I think there's a gas nozzle there, and it took me about a half an hour before I could get anything to come out to sustain a flame. So it is what it is. It's the classroom that I have. It's the building that we're in. We probably won't get them this time. Tie back, long, loose clothing. Also things like, tuck all your backpacks underneath your chairs, underneath the table so the aisleways are clear and things like that, right? Never leave an open flame unattended. Electrical equipment. Make sure your hands are dry when using electrical equipment. Pull the what? Not the what?
Plug, not the cord.
It's called unplugging, not uncording. Report any frayed or damaged cords. If an electrical component becomes, unless it's a hot plate that's supposed to become hot, I guess we should say that, but if it's not a hot plate, it becomes hot, unplug it.
Immediately.
Okay. All right. Then we have the WHMIS, the Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. We have these symbols. I'm probably going to ask you 3 or 4 of these on your quiz. It'll be multiple choice, but still you should know these. What's the first one that looks like a little kind of a water bottle on its side?
Compressed gas.
Oh, you know what? It looks like an air tank, doesn't it? I think I can go like this. Compressed gas. What's this one that looks sort of like flames? Oh! I can remember that. Flammable, sorry? Well, combustible materials. I'm just going to write 2 M's, I think. Flammable. Now, this one also sort of looks like flames, but not quite. There's what's that one mean? And by the way, I'm doing this also. This is how I remember what's what, is I analyze the symbol. Danielle. What does oxidizing material mean? There's probably, so why is that so important? Oxidizing material, I spelled oxidizing wrong clearly, is the Y in the, oh, it's no Y, okay. We talk about the fire triangle. We say fire needs three things. It needs fuel, something to burn. It needs an initial heat source. And the third thing, it doesn't need air. It needs something very specific inside air. Oxygen, which is how, for example, flares can work underwater. They have an oxidizing material, a material that releases oxygen. So this is telling you, if you think you can put this fire out by smothering it, that won't work because it's got its own oxygen supply. In fact, you probably have to use a special fire extinguisher for that. How can we remember that? So I've told you that it's associated with fire, hence the flames. Oh, wait a minute. What letter does that round thing there look like?
Oh.
Oxidized. Oh, geez, Captain Obvious. That'll work. Okay. What's this one here that looks like it's burning onto my skin somehow?
Corrosive material.
Corrosive. There's the fancy word. Skull and pirates. Beware of pirates? No? Poisonous? And infectious. You notice I'm shortening because I tend to abbreviate. Okay. I think I told somebody last day that that symbol actually about 300 years ago was associated with life and wellness. So it's really morphed over the years to now skull and crossbones means death. It's gone a complete reversal. What's this thing here that looks sort of like a weird T, but yeah.
Poisonous material causing other toxic effects.
Okay, so toxic. I got the T there. Poisonous material causing other toxic effects. What's the difference between that and poison?
It's not necessarily life and death, but it can cause bad effects.
Or it may be as simple as this can kill you even if you don't swallow it. Poison generally is inhaled or ingested. That's the fancy way for smelled or swallowed. Okay? This doesn't necessarily even need to do that. So that's probably a good way to remember it because it looks like a T. The test is going to be multiple choice, so I'm giving you ways that you can, I'm doing the key words so you can figure it out, right? What's this funky thing here with the circles and circles and circles? Sorry? Biohazard. So that can be very serious or not that serious. So for example, in a hospital, any blood sample is treated as a biohazard and disposed of properly, even though probably the odds are if the blood spilled on you, you'd be fine, probably, depending on what's in the blood. But most people, I mean, because people donate blood, most people's blood is actually just fine to donate to somebody else, but we treat it as, or it could be something really, you know, it could be like something diseased or something also, but it generally means it came from a living organism. Right? How can I remember that that's a biohazard? I guess I can sort of go like this. Does that sort of look like a bee? If you come up with something better, let me know. Last one. Reactive. How can I remember that that one is, oh, R, and then a test tube like showing lots of energy. Okay. Reactive. So I've tried to give you kind of ways to keep these straight. No yawning, Drew, or I'll make you stop. Other safety symbols, and I said, note, many of these appear on household products such as cleaners, garden supplies, etc. Anybody know what's the difference between a triangle and a stop sign? Can I call it an octagon, please? What's the difference between a triangle and an octagon? What those mean? Nope. Yeah.
One is a dangerous container, the other one is a dangerous product.
One talks about what's inside. One talks about what it's inside the container. It's which one of these is the container?
Triangle.
Okay. I kind of imagine that sort of looking like a bottle. I know it's upside down, but that's how I remember that one. Dangerous container. And this one is dangerous contents or dangerous. I remember when I see the octagon, I imagine I'm looking down into a well and there's something down there that can blow up, and that's the well open. That's the or looking into a container and that's the opening I'm looking through. Again, Christian, dumb ways to keep this straight, okay? But dangerous contents. So this would be what? This triangle with the. What's explosive? What's inside or the container? Okay, so this is explosive container. What about this one here? What's flammable? The container? Okay. Flammable product or contents. I see kind of a skeleton-y hand there. Sorry? Corrosive. Oh, because it's going to eat away the skin, and it's just going to leave the skeleton behind. Oh, disgusting. Okay, I can remember that. Corrosive contents or corrosive product. Poisonous product or poisonous container, because there are some containers that you also have to wash your hands just after touching, right? But here, poisonous product. Did I have more? Yeah, I said there is a Msds sheet for every chemical used in school. One of your assignments today is going to be to interpret an Msds, but first put your pencils down, look up. So the third thing, Evan, that I gave you is the safety crossword. That's this puppy here. Okay? Gives you some of those words might be on your safety quiz. Then I gave you the lab safety worksheet. So this says, hey, what's wrong with this picture? Find 7 unsafe situations. And then describe an injury that might occur as a result of each situation. I haven't attached an answer. There's more than 7, I think, by the way. Safety do's and don'ts. This is a repeat of what we just did actually in our notes. The reason I found, Mandy, is you're teenagers and I have to repeat things. Repeating things for teenagers sometimes helps. I've found that for teenagers, saying things more than once can be an aid to learning. So I did that 3 times. And so we're going to do that. Then we have so here's a repeat of the symbols that we did. You're going to write the name and what the symbol means. And this is from your textbook. Also an easy way, rewriting it helps you, Sierra, remember it. You know, it's a cheap way, but it works. And then a little multiple choice. I didn't include the answers. Ask a neighbor or check with me. Usually I include the answers for the safety stuff because most of it, Nick, is fairly common sense. I saved paper and I did not. What I want to talk about is the first sheet that I gave you, the Msds practice sheet. Okay? Put your pencils down. Stand up. So it says, here's an Msds practice sheet. It's going to ask you some questions. I'm going to tell you right now, you can find the answer to every one of these questions if you read. So there's something called a product information. It tells you the composition. It tells you the hazards identification, things that it can do to you. It tells you first aid measures if it gets on you. So when it says what WHMS labels would you expect to find on the hydrochloric acid, the ones that we looked at in our notes, those symbols, which ones would you expect to find? Well, let's see. Hazard identification. What's the first word right here? Begins with letter C. That label, whichever one was the corrosive, that one. Is it poisonous? I got to be fussy. It's corrosive. Is it poisonous? So I actually don't think you'd see the skull and crossbones. Right? Certainly the corrosive label, maybe the toxic. You can figure it out by reading. Number 2 says, give a synonym for hydrochloric acid. Right there. There's, whoop, don't want to move it over. The synonym is right there. You've got to read. 3 says, what are the chemicals? There it is. What are the hazards? You don't have to list them all. You can abbreviate, summarize. Okay? How should you treat it? So this is called an Msds sheet. Very handy. Lots of information. Every year I give this and kids say, where do I find all this? I'm going to make you, you're in grade 9, figure it out and read a little bit. Check with a neighbor. So this, the second sheet, which is probably the longest one, the front and back, and the crossword. If you get them done in class, you can hand them in what block are you? E.
Oh.
You can hand them in back there in block E. I explained to you how I marked the other day already, right? I just mark for completeness. I don't mark right or wrong. I'll either give you the answers or I'll go over the answers in class. You do not need to hand in the thing that we did at the beginning of class, filling in the blanks. That's for you for your notes to study for the quiz. Any questions? Okay, I'm shutting up.